And bring your attention to the heaviest part of your heels, both right and left side. And just notice sort of the contact down into your mat, into this exact spot that they're in. No control over the breathing here. Just allow the breath to be smooth in both directions. And from that contact point of both of your heels, bring your attention up through the back of your ankles, your calf, and behind your knee. And just notice the heaviness of the lower part of your leg down into the earth right here. And then from the back of the knee, up your hamstrings on the back of your leg to the hips and your glutes. Just notice the heaviness of that physical contact down into the earth. And then bring your attention just to the curve in your low back, and then into the mid back, the shoulder blade area, and the upper back. And those contact points down into your mat, into the earth. And then notice the tops of the shoulders through the upper arm to the elbow, and down to the lower arm, and the backs of your hands. The heaviness, the weightedness down into the grass, into your mat, right here. And then notice the space in the back of your neck, the base of the skull, and the heaviest point where your head is resting, right here. And then take a smooth breath in through your nose, just noticing the back body and noticing the physical points of contact. And just an easy sigh out, let it go. And bring an overall awareness to the front of your body. Maybe the areas of your body that are not touching the earth and are more in not only the air, but in space right here. And all of your attention comes to your toes, the tops of your feet and the front of your ankles. And then from the front of the ankles up the shins, the inside of the calves to your kneecaps and the sides of your knees. And can you feel the subtle breeze, the warmth of the air on your lower legs above the earth? And then from the knees up the quadriceps, the inner thighs, the IT band area, all the way up to the outer hips. And the front of the hips, the hip flexors, and the low abdomen. Just noticing this part of your body above the earth. And from the front of the hips, the hip flexors, the low abdomen, up to the area around your navel, your side body, the front of the rib cage to the sternum. Just bring your attention there. And from the sternum, your collarbones, the fronts of the shoulders, out through your biceps to the soft part of the elbow. And just noticing those areas of your body right here. And from the soft part of your elbow, the insides of the forearms, the inner wrists, the palms, and to each last finger pad. And just notice. And the front of the neck, the sides of the neck, your chin, the entirety of your jaw, your mouth, your nose, your eyes, your forehead, your ears, and every last follicle of hair on your head. just notice above the earth the warmth of a subtle sunshine above the tree, and just right here and right now. And take a smooth breath in and a complete breath out. Now you have this new looking of your physical body right here in space as it is right now. And the back of the body rooted down, and the front of the body free and open. Now can you notice the inside of your mind? Notice the quality. Did your mind attach to a certain area? Perhaps the back body, front body? Can you notice the quality of the thoughts, your breathing? More the inner workings of you. And take a deep breath in. And a smooth breath out. And just notice, by placing your attention on separate and specific parts in your body, you can create a sense of presence, mindfulness, just on the here and now. And sometimes we think of, that be present or simple presence as something so complicated and like outside of ourselves, when really it's just the simplicity of paying attention. It's that practice of attention, a practice of focus. Okay, so let's take another breath in, this time a little more active. And a good sigh out your mouth. And bring your left leg just in line with your hip, a little closer in towards the mat. And bring your right knee into you. You can lace your fingers on your shin, your knee, behind your knee, whatever feels good and comfortable. So can we use this time together tonight to just practice our presence in each of the moments that come to us? And remember that the quality of being human is that thoughts will come, right? Thoughts will come and thoughts will go. Right? It's sort of that reminder that, you'll have something come into your mind and then you might forget a thing. You haven't written it down or something like this. Okay, so let's just allow the thoughts to come and go as if there are clouds in the sky just kind of floating on by. Just resisting the urge to engage with them any further than just noticing a thought, and then we let it go. Okay, and then take your knee across your body to the left for spinal twist. Reach your right arm out and to the right. And then feel free to have your left hand just on the outer right knee. And we just create this sense of easiness through your breath. Okay, nothing complex, nothing forceful. And really that can be presence. Nothing complex and nothing forceful. Just there, open. And then you can stay just like this if you wish, or lengthen your right leg straight to the left. You can get a little more into your IT band, the outside of your right hip, out to your outer right knee. As we move through these first few shapes, postures, we take these breaths and allow ourselves to just really be present right here. If there's something specific that you're working through, working on in your life, and you just want to put some intention behind that with this time, just feel free to bring that to mind right here and now. Go ahead and bend up your right knee. Slowly make your way through center. eyes up towards the sky. And stretch your right leg out onto your mat and hip width. Okay, take a breath between sides here. Long inhale. And long exhale. And then left knee draws in. Take your sweet time. Just find that good, comfortable grip with your hand on the shin or your knee. And oftentimes we can sort of should ourselves that practice should be a certain way. I only practice yoga if it is fill in the blank. Okay, can we work away from what we think our practice should be and just allow space and time, like in the here and now? And take it from me, I've spent a lot of years before teaching yoga just like moving very fast in my life. One place to the next, one thing to the next, having a few or 7 pots on the burner, trying to tend to them all. And specifically with the yin style practice where we hold a little bit longer, a little more of like a restorative, chill feel to it, sometimes the busyness of our mind can kind of like catch up with us and try and drag us back into that fast pace. When really we can use these moments, use this restorative nature to just come back to again and again and trust in that it will serve us in that moment. And then go ahead and take your knee across your body to the right. And just keep your knee bent to begin. And allow your hand to rest on the outer knee or thigh. And roll the left shoulder back and really reach the left fingertips out to the left. And on that note, it doesn't mean that we no longer are productive and we no longer choose to get things done, but we use this practice of discernment, like deciding what is important and requires our attention and what doesn't. Okay, in my own life, I've really seen friendships, I've seen places that I would spend time, even before shutdown, like just really fall away. And it's been such a blessing because I've allowed other friendships, other parts of my work to really come to life, and that just like in simple joy to be all in with it. So if there's anything that comes to mind here, just while you're in this space that already kind of like bubbles up, you just want to like let go of that and see what that space allows for. Just know that it's safe to do that. And if you'd like to stay just like this, you can, or straighten your left leg out and to the right. Option to flex the toes towards you. Just a little energy, and then you can relax the foot right down into the grass. And more, it's been like really admiring nature over specifically the last 4 months. That like really nothing in nature is rushed, and yet we still have the seasons switch over. We still have the green grass grow and the trees to turn color, right? And there's no question about it, right? Just kind of trust that happens. So if we allow for that slower pace, we allow for just the settling in of a natural flow in our life and our mind and heart to actually be connected, we can just trust in that. And it's, easier said than done. So let's just stay patient if there's a few asterisks beside that one. Smooth and steady, bend up your left knee, and come on back through center. Stretch your leg out beside your right. And then let's take just a good breath here. Fill up and side out. Bring the bottoms of your feet to touch with your knees open wide. And I'll just leave it to you to decide sort of that custom distance of your feet perhaps a little closer towards you, or your feet a little further away from you in more of like a diamond shape. Sometimes in this position, with opening the knees and the insides of the thighs at the hip, can feel like a lot if you have your feet quite close. So just choose that distance that you can allow the knees to relax open. And then perhaps you press through the outer feet and lift the hips slightly to tuck your tailbone underneath you. Sometimes that can feel nice just to lengthen the low back. And then bring your arms into a cactus position, elbows in line with shoulders, and the backs of your hands can just roll back. And allow the belly to rise and fall with the breath. Allow the front of the ribs expand up and out. Now sometimes this position of the arms can feel somewhat constricting in the shoulder joints. So you could also take your arms to a T, or you could reach your arms overhead and just lay the arms in the grass, lay the arms out. I'm just looking still for this sort of openness through the front of the chest, your belly, and the inner thighs. Last few breaths here. Allowing the belly to rise and fall. And bring your hands to the outsides of the knees. Just smooth and steady. Help your knees up through center. And then heel toe your feet off and wide to the edges of the mat and knock your knees in towards each other. Just allow them to rest into the midline. And just after a little movement through the hips, the low back, the insides of the legs, can you just notice if there's any little shift in energy in the lower half of your body and the spine? We'll take an active breath in together. Big sigh, let it go. And then heel toe your feet right together. Take your right arm overhead and come to lay on your right side for fetal position. And close the eyes if you wish. Allow your head to rest on your arm in this sort of subtle, natural position in your body. Can this be comforting for you? And take one round of breath. And come to child's pose. Choose that distance with your knees out a little wider or a little more narrow, in a way that feels solid and grounding for you. Relax your arms, relax your face and your jaw. Relax the shoulders and your belly. Crawl your fingertips over to the left side of your mat. I'm looking for still lengthen the spine, but more of a side bend. So you could have your right hand on top of your left. That can create more space in the right side body. And as we change the shape of your body, right, it just calls for a new quality of attention, right? So can we now feel what you feel on the right side body, okay, from your right hip to your right armpit and all the way out through the fingertips. And can you now exaggerate the breath into the right side of your body? And last round of breath right here. Just feeling what you feel right here. And walk your fingertips back through center. Spider your fingers forward and actually lift the palms off the mat. Lift the elbows off the mat. And crawl your fingertips over to the opposite side of your mat. Feel free to crawl your left hand on top of your right. And then gain a new position in the body, a new quality of attention, a new place to pinpoint exactly what you feel. Now in the left side body. And oftentimes in yoga, we can move from the gross details to the subtle details. Sort of the specific alignment in the posture, and then we work into the subtle feelings on the inside, right? So let's see if we can reverse that here and notice a few more of the subtle details. Okay, perhaps the space between the left ribs. The releasing of the tension in the jaw. And still the wind. The air on your skin. Okay, can you now exaggerate your breath into the left side of the body and really feel the separation of the left ribs as you breathe in and out. Last round of breath. Spider your fingertips back through center. Lift the elbows, lift the palms, notice the space in both sides. And roll forward through tabletop position. And come through a few rounds of cat and cow. Okay, so just nice and easy. Look up towards the sky, curve the low back, and then round in. Okay, tuck the chin in, and then just really take this on your breath. Inhale to cow, and exhale to cat. Okay, yeah, you can close your eyes as you wish. Just keeping that internal attention inside of you. And 3 more rounds, exactly where you're at, fingers spread wide. That's it. And you can just notice the sounds around you, notice where you are. And just allowing the sounds to still fade like into the background, voices, cars, movements. Okay, and then after that last round of cat and cow, let's make our way around to a seat. Okay, and we can go to cross-legged. Okay, sometimes we'll go cross-legged, kind of like the crisscross applesauce kind of thing. See if we can tuck the feet in a little bit more, kind of like stacked like so. And then we feel the hips down into the earth as best you can. And sometimes if the hips are quite tight, the knees will want to lift. So just give yourself a bit of space with the feet here out in front. Okay. Good, Ash. And then you can even take your bottom foot out in front a little more. Yeah. Out in front, like here, separated. Yeah, there we go. Good. Okay, so then you really let the knees open wide. Okay. You just let your hands rest on the tops of the knees. You sit tall from here. And you humble chin. And then just see how you can feel the groundedness, just like we practiced at the very beginning, where we started with the heels. See if you can practice this groundedness through both sit bones, right and left. And then you feel the spine grow tall, like a sunflower coming out of a flower pot. Okay, humble chin, and then allow that sort of the round sunflower to be the very top of your head, nice and tall. And then as your eyes are closed, you might even use your imagination how sometimes the top of the sunflower sort of has that little curve at the very top, and that can be the little tuck of the chin down, so you feel that length in the back of your neck. And we're just going to take about 45 seconds here just to feel the seat. See if you can allow the hip flexors to kind of relax. Sometimes they really want to hold on. So let the hands be soft, elbows are weighted. And all of your attention right on your breath. And about 20 more seconds. Working the breath in and out, smooth and even. Allow the thoughts to keep floating on by. And one more round of breath right here. Smooth inhale. And exhale. And mindfully open your eyes. And then take your right hand to your left knee. Left hand behind you, and we rotate towards the left. And take your chin towards the left collarbone. And you might even tent the left fingers, bend up the left elbow slightly, and rotate from the upper spine, mid spine to low spine. And smooth and steady, come through center. Your left hand to the outside of your right knee. Right hand behind. Still stay tall. Chin towards the right collarbone. Come through center. Just allow the hands to rest on the fronts of the thighs. Slide the heels of the hands back towards the hips. Elbows draw back. Look up, chin up, shoulders pull back. Okay, long breath here. Okay, and then slide your hands all the way to the front of the knees. Tuck the chin, round your upper back, and exhale. Okay, we'll do that again. Hands slide back, elbows back, look up, big breath. And then hands to the front of the knees. Find a little pull with the hands. Lean back, tuck the chin. And then one more like that. Hand slide, look up. Open through the front of the chest. And then hands to the front of the knees. Round in, exhale. Right, arms reach up. Full breath. And then hands down in front of you. Come forward on the insides of the legs. Let the elbows rest. Allow your head to be heavy. Notice that the sit bones want to lift up. See if you can keep them down, noticing length in the low back. And then slowly start to lift yourself up. Take your hands behind you, kind of lean back a bit so there's some space from the hands to the hips. Little bend to the elbows, lift the chest just like we were. Lay your head back, chin high, shoulders roll back. And then press into the palms and just bring your chin through center to begin. And then You can stay leaning back and just sort of lift your knees up to set your feet out in front of you, hip width. You're going to take your right hand underneath your right calf to the front of left shin. And then same thing, left hand underneath to the front of right shin. And then we're going to lean back, tuck your chin in, dome the upper back behind you, and kind of like pick up the front of the hips slightly as you round in. And start to lift your head, let go of your grip. Hands come behind you, fingers to face away. Either head back to the shoulders and we just lift through the sternum, or you can lift your hips, reverse tabletop, tuck the tailbone towards your knees, little opening through the front of the body, but still let your head go back.
Is it weird right now?
Okay, last 2 breaths where you're at. Last breath. And then smooth and steady, let your hips touch down. Stretch your legs straight out in front of you. And then sweep your arms overhead, big breath. Okay, cactus your elbows and make fists. Okay, keep your feet flexed and then reach your arms high. Same thing, make fists and cactus the elbows. Okay, one more time like that. Reach up. And then cactus the elbows, we look up slightly. Okay, let go of the fists, reach forward, bow forward into the legs. And you can take your hands to the tops of the feet, the outsides of the feet, or just let your palms rest on the fronts of the calves, the fronts of the shins rather. Push your heels away from the hips, toes pull towards you. Last few breaths, option to let this go passive and just allow the arms to rest beside the calves with the palms up. Forehead can come down, eyes can close, smooth and steady with your breath, no control. Roll yourself up through center. Okay, you're just gonna bend up your knees, take heels to one side of the mat, come around to tabletop, and then tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Nice and smooth, nice and easy. Really stretch the hips up away from the shoulders. And then rise high onto the toes. So your heels lift. See if you can straighten your legs. Yeah, that's it. Really good, you guys. Lift your heels, try and straighten the legs, and notice that connection up to the sit bones. Okay, now sink your heels with a good exhale. Try and keep your legs straight. You can take your right knee behind your right wrist for half pigeon. Okay. If you have any knee things, we'll just call them things, sensitivities, you need a modification, no problem. You're gonna create this 7 shape with your right leg, and then smooth, we just come forward over your right thigh. Good, and just keep your right heel in line with your right knee if you're taking that modification. Yep, just like that, you got it. Those of you that are all the way down on your elbows, you could take your elbows out a little bit wider. Still let your forehead settle down, perhaps somewhere, the backs of your hands or your mat. And just come back to that practice of presence, the practice of paying attention to what you feel. So this sensation might be quite strong. Okay, it could seem strong. Let's just see if we can really use the breath as a tool to work through some of that excess tension and to stay focused on where you're at. And then nice and easy, come all the way up through to seated. Come back to down dog. Plant the hands and lift the hips. Okay, if you're on your back in a modification, you can just stay because we'll switch sides. Okay, left knee behind your left wrist. That's it. Okay, and then set it up just right. You feel that you can have that evenness through your hips if you're in that traditional pigeon shape. Remember that modification is our sort of L or 7 shape from the hip, and then allow your chest to come forward over top of the shin. It just takes the knee joint kind of out of the equation here. That's it. Yeah, totally. Yeah, if that's okay for your knee, for sure. Yep. An invitation just to come back to any purpose you brought to your own intention for your time on your mat. If there's something that you're working on, working through in your life, or maybe just trying to stay open to what that thing may be. See if you can bring that to mind, sort of re-engage. Any of you are down on your elbows, you could take your elbows a little bit wider. Okay, last few moments here. Last good juicy round of breath. And exhale. And come on up to your hands. You can either come around onto your hips or stretch back to downward dog one final time if you wish. If you would like to come right over onto your hips and onto your back, feel free. You can come to lay back and just hug your knees in. Good squeeze, knees to chest, a little side to side. And one by one, stretch your legs out. Take your arms out in that good, comfortable position. Feel free to take up a lot of space with your limbs. And to finish practice this evening, we're going to work into a little breath work practice before we wind into full Shavasana. Just notice the heaviness of the back body here, like relaxed and grounded. And so we'll start at the pubic bone, and with our breath in, we'll go to the belly button with your attention. And then we inhale from belly button to sternum. And then we inhale once again from sternum to the collarbones. Okay, so sort of sips of air filling the lungs as we go with our attention on those places of our body. And then there will be that smooth exhale all the way out. Okay, so let's take a breath in together and a clearing exhale. And then from your pubic bone to the navel, inhale. And navel to the sternum, inhale. And sternum to collarbones, inhale. Smooth exhale all the way out. Empty. And inhale to your belly button. Inhale to the sternum. Inhale to the collarbones. Smooth exhale all the way out. And again, inhale navel. Inhale sternum. Inhale collarbones. Exhale all the way out. Okay, one more time all together. Inhale to the belly button. Inhale to the space around your heart. Inhale to the bottom of the throat. And exhale all the way out. One more time on your own with your attention. Allow yourself to be empty. Regular breath in. Open mouth sigh. Regular breath in. And open mouth sigh. And settle into that final rest. We let go of any control of the breathing. Just allow ourselves to rest and receive. Go ahead and take a good long breath in and out. Many bows of gratitude for each of you. Thank you for being here tonight. Namaste. day.